Don't forget, the best shooting show of the year is on its way, not long now. The British Shooting Show 2025 is back to the third weekend in February, so the Friday the 14th, 15th and 16th of February. Looking forward to seeing loads of great kit and saying hello to lots of you again. So feel free to say hello, see you there. Hi there everyone. Subtle plug for DNT Optics, and this video's not sponsored. I'd really appreciate it if you're interested in the new DNT Zulus, ZHD312R or ZHD520R, or this new ThermNight TNC225R, or the two higher spec models, which I'll tell you a little bit of a teaser about, which I'm going to be doing a second video on very shortly. If you're interested in any of those scopes, I've got a link down below. Feel free to click on it and browse. If you buy stuff from that link, then it helps support my channel, which I would really appreciate. You're almost certainly aware of the DNT Zulus scopes and day and night technologies Zulus, and basically full HD by day, full HD by night. And I have several videos on my channel already, so feel free to check them out. This fella, on the other hand, is the brand new ThermNight. So that's thermal night, as in thermal plus day and night vision. This is the TNC225R. TNC is ThermNight Compact. I've got it this way around to show you the jazzy red buttons here. One of which is the LRF, which once linked via the app on your phone to a ballistic calculator, will give you either a holdover or a dial-in, which is a movement of the whole reticle, to match corresponding with your aim point at your chosen range. There's been a couple of videos done on these already. The purpose of this video is to kind of show you a bit more detail on the TNC225R, a quick setup tutorial, and I've also, out in the garden, I've done testing. I've set up the ballistic calculator via the 8 factors to allow you to create your ballistic table, upload it to the scope via Wi-Fi. I've now tested it from 30 meters down to 4 meters. So this video will be including my testing. But let's give you a quick rundown of how you set it up first. Overall, you can see the shape is very compact, and I've currently got the removable rubber eye cup, corrugated eye cup removed. It just unscrews very simply. I prefer, because I shoot recoilless air rifles like this Air Max crate, I prefer to shoot with my eyebrow touching the rear of this ring, because there's no recoil, and also I have the sprung lens cap removed. So it's overall a very compact scope, and the whole thing, including 18650 battery, weighs less than 900 grams. A very quick rundown on it. You have the LRF module with a laser rangefinder, emitter and detector at the front. You have the 18650 battery compartment here. You've got the cap at the back, and you have the pill, if you like, which is like basically the head with the diode in it. You can rotate the head of that to widen the beam, spread it, or narrow it and focus it, which has the effect of reducing the brightness and increasing the brightness without actually turning the power up at all, without using any extra energy. So if you want to focus on one spot, you can just narrow down the beam via this objective ring here, and you don't have to adjust the power. Also, the head of this comes off, just unscrews fairly easily, and you can replace it with a 940 nanometer, because it comes with an 850 nanometer VCSEL. So that's vertical cavity surface emitting laser. Basically, it's a fully legal, fully safe VCSEL laser IR. It's safe because it's less than 500 milliwatts, and Bruce has measured this endlessly. And the next video coming up is my comparison of the 225R, 335R and 635R in the garden right here just 2 weeks ago with Andrew Dickinson, the UK rep, sales rep from DNT. And Bruce and Billy have got those two 335R and 635R scopes. And right in front of me, Bruce put the scope on his test bench, and it wouldn't go over, I think, 420 milliwatts. So fully UK legal, fully safe, brilliant. So that's your layout, your battery compartment. remove the back. The knurling's a little bit shallow, so you remove the back to replace the 18650 battery. You can swap the head out for a 914 nanometers head if you want to be more covert, if you've got skittish prey. And you've got the objective lens, you can narrow down the focus to brighten the beam. The real beauty of the ThermNights are these two buttons. Laser rangefinder. I'll put a photo up here of a screenshot from my app on my mobile. Once you've set up the details on your app, on your mobile, uploaded it to the scope once, you can then disconnect the scope from the phone, and once in use, a single press of this starts the scope ranging. And you can set it for, I think, sort of 3 different periods it can range for. Another press, and it will stop ranging, and whatever object it's ranging at that time, it'll show you a subtension on the screen, green, which I think they're going to work on making it black or white to help those people who are colorblind. But for the time being, one press starts ranging, a second press stops ranging and gives you your holdover position. The third press resumes ranging, or a long press stops the LRF working altogether. This button, this is the magic button, this is the toggle one. The back control panel looks pretty much like the Zulu's. You can use it in full HD, in full color by day, in black and white HD by night. Long press of the left-hand button switches you from day to night mode. And once you're in night mode, you've got, I think, 5 presses of this for 5 IR power levels, and then auto, and then back to power level 1. If you select thermal, the larger 25mm germanium lens here is your thermal lens, and you'll see I've got a coaster on this to assist me focusing, because the small digital lens for day and night has already got a smaller coaster on it built in. Once you're in thermal mode, presses of the left-hand button take you through the palettes. So white hot, black hot, red hot, iron hot, looks like a rainbow, back to white hot. I naturally prefer white hot, black hot. I know black hot often gives you slightly finer definition, but my brain just prefers white hot. Plus in white hot mode, the whole screen is generally dark apart from living mammals running around emitting heat. So if the whole screen is dark, you're getting less glow back off the display, less lighting up your face. It seems logical to me. You've got a tiny zoom wheel here, which it's quite small, but you can operate it with thin gloves on. And as you turn it clockwise, righty-tighty, zooms in, and you can just gently feel subtle graduations. The top half of this imager is 90% quality-wise of a Zulu ZHD 520R. The 2 higher spec models I'll be bringing in my next video, they're sort of 95% of the quality, image quality of a ZHD 520R. So this base mag in day and night is 5 times, and it takes you up in 2.5 mag increments, 7.5, 10, 12.5, 15, 17.5, and finally 20 mag. When you're in thermal mode, press the toggle button to switch between thermal mode and day or night, whichever you've got selected. And the thermal mode is 3 to 12, and it's 3, 6, 9, and 12 mag, and that's digital zoom in the magnification. It's only a 256 by 192 thermal sensor, although it is 18 millikelvin net D. I'll explain that in a second. And my preference is to leave this in base mag 3 times, because you've got a much more wide angle view to see what's around. A long press of the right button switches the pip on, and through the menu you can have pip upper left, upper right, or upper center. I think I'm currently inclined towards upper left, because you want to see what's going on. And I'm still swithering over whether I prefer generally having the thermal in the main view and the HD image with the crosshairs for targeting in the pip, or vice versa. I think if I'm ratting in a relatively short range area, I think I would have the thermal in the main view. Might even do some of the shooting via the thermal. But coming up in this video, you'll see me test the holdover marks from 30 meters down to 4 meters. And it's not quite what you expect. It's not quite perfect at 4 and 5 meters, but I'll get to that. Oh, before I forget, we have a rubber port on the right-hand side. It's IP67 rated, so it's water resistant. Peel that open to get a USB-C port. That's not to charge the onboard battery, but purely to download the scope. So you plug your USB-C cable in, power the scope on, and on your PC, it pops up as a USB drive. You've got 32 gig of memory here, and with this recording digital HD day and night and thermal at the same time, you're going to get about 3.5 hours footage on the onboard memory. So via the power button, when you press this little button at the top, there's a tiny discrete blue LED appears. Anytime you're shooting, and including while you're recording, a quick press of that power button and the blue LED changes to amber or orange. It puts the scope on standby, uses less power, makes the battery last longer, but it also stops the recording. Another quick press of that powers the scope up instantly, resumes the recording with a new video file, and it shows the blue light again. So that's a wise move. If you've only got 3.5 hours recording time in your videos, that's a wise move to preserve your onboard memory. And a quick heads up, the two higher spec models, the 335R and the 635R, they both have 64 gig of memory, so you can record for just over 7 hours with those two scopes. But more on that coming soon. You've also got a 2-slot Picatinny rail on the right hand side, so if you want to add on an IR torch to avoid using the onboard IR and to prolong the battery life, go for it. But so simple to swap out a 18650 battery via this port on the side, this compartment. Really easy to do. The tricky thing while you're shooting, if you look from this angle, the tricky thing is you've got a small focus throw lever here for day or night, and I've added a larger coaster focus throw lever here for the thermal, so I can reach with my right hand and just touch either one of these, that one or that one. So I've got them both at my fingertips, so to speak. You can find coasters in my Amazon shop, and there's a link to that down below. Again, to help support the channel. Connection to the rifle, by the way, before I forget, you've got 4 countersunk head Allen screws underneath, attaching the Picatinny bracket or dovetail bracket to the underside of the scope. And you've got 3 Allen screws here clamping the scope mount onto your rifle rail. And just a note, the higher spec 335R and 635R, these 3 Allen screws have been replaced with Torx screws. And the 18650 battery on this side has been replaced with a 21700 battery. This is full disclosure in case some of you have heard how amazing these scopes are and you're thinking of getting one. Just to make you aware, there are 2 higher spec models coming up, but they're not out yet. This should be out at the latest by the British Shooting Show on the 14th of February. See you all there, by the way, hopefully. Should be there all 3 days this year. Full disclosure, there are 2 higher spec models coming out. They will be correspondingly more expensive. Most retailers are selling these for $999, and it's outstanding for a pest control scope for airgun ranges. No, you're not getting the world's best thermal quality from a 256x192 sensor, although it is very sensitive with 18 millikelvin net D. Let me just explain that. 18 millikelvins is a measure of temperature. It's like minutiae of degrees. So it's 18 millikelvins is a very small temperature differentiation. And net D is net extreme temperature deviation. So the smaller the figure is, 18 millikelvins is very low. And some scopes, some spotters and thermals, you'll see 30, 40, 50 millikelvins net D. 18 millikelvins net D is very low. That means the scope is able to spot very small differences in temperature graduation on a mammal downrange. You'll see on my video coming up, mice at the base of a tree 25 meters away, and you can see the little tails of the mice even. Fantastic detail from such a relatively low res sensor. Fantastic. So this is all you need for airgun ranges, trust me. Okay, setup wise, I'll try and do this quickly. You've seen the screenshot from the DNT app. Initially, the Arken app was going to be a choice, so you could use the Arken app or the DNT app. Now DNT have launched as a brand this scope you're best using on the DNT app. But the great thing is you no longer need 2 apps, one to update the scope firmware and one to set up the ballistic calculator. The DNT app does it all. So you set up the DNT app, the 8 parameters, I'll put them on the screen. So you've got your caliber of your rifle, for example, 177, 4.5 millimeters. You've got your muzzle velocity, and you must measure this yourself. It has to be accurate. Don't get it off the box, and don't get it from word of mouth. Measure it yourself. You need the weight of your pellet in grains or grams, and every one of these 8 factors can be put in individually in imperial or metric to suit yourself. You need the length of projectile, which I measured it with a ruler, 4.5, 5 mil, whatever. You need the ballistic coefficient. This is very important, and you can get it from various websites. I've done a post on the Airgun forum, and at the end of where I listed a bunch of common ones, and then at the end of the post, I put a link to the Hard Air forum from the States, which lists an awful lot more pellet brands, which is great. So you've got the ballistic coefficient, you've got the drag factor, G1 or G7, just use G1. Ignore temperature and altitude. The remaining crucial parameter is the height, and this is the height from the center line of the bore of the rifle to the center of the top objective lens. Not the thermal lens, but the upper one, the day and night lens. I measured that diameter of the barrel shroud, diameter of the objective lens, the separation, half a one, and the difference. Added it together, 111 mil, and then I did a gross error check. And you measure to the top lens because the scope compensates itself for the center of the thermal lens to give you a true holdover when you're in thermal mode. A long press of this button activates picture-in-picture mode. One difference when you're in the menu zeroing with the ThermNight scopes is it's a long press with the right button to save and exit. The Zulus was the long press with the left button to save and exit. There's a difference there to be aware of. Once you've activated dual mode in the menu, you can then have, if you're in day mode, color, or night mode in black and white, you can have thermal in the pip. One press of this little button swaps. So thermal in the pip, digital day or night in the main view, swaps the other way. And it's quite a wide angle view, which is brilliant. So whether in the main view or in the pip, you can be targeting prey with your crosshairs, and in the corner of your eye, you can still see the rest of the view, and you can still see another rabbit or another rat or another whatever might present itself and give you a better target. Great features. So you determine the 8 characteristics, some of which you measure yourself, like the velocity and the scope height, and some you get off Google, or you might get the ballistic coefficient off your pellet packaging or your slug packaging. Pop them in the app, create a ballistic profile, upload it via Wi-Fi to the scope, deactivate the Wi-Fi, disconnect the scope from your phone. Forget about your phone, you don't need it anymore, you just use the scope from that point onwards. Okay, so I've zeroed this at 30 meters because it's 177 sub 12 for UK non-FAC users. And this one's 11.4 foot-pounds, perfectly 20 feet per second below the legal limit, so you don't want to be too close. So I zeroed this at 30 meters. Now, with the added extra height, 111 mil from the bore to the center of the top lens, that meant rather than have a far zero of 30 meters and the pellet sort of, how can I explain this? Rather than have the pellet rising up through the line of sight and back down to my 30 meter zero, primary zero, secondary zero. With this scope being 111 mil from the bore to the upper lens, basically the two primary and secondary are coincident, which is 32 and 30 meters for me. So they are the same. So you do have to be aware you've got quite high, I'm using a bullpup anyway, so it's high, but you do have to be aware you've got a quite high line of sight because you're measuring to the upper objective lens. Okay, so I set up in the garden, zeroed at 30 meters, check the ballistic profile was correct. You can view that through the scope and it shows you all your parameters that you've entered on your phone. Great double check. And then at a few meter increments, I moved the target forward from 30 meters all the way down to 3 meters. This fella, the rangefinder works down to 4 meters, and both day and night and thermal objective lenses focus down to 3 meters, which is brilliant. Let's get on to show you the testing I did. 0 at 30 meters first, and then onto the rest of the ranges. Okay?
The target is at 12 meters, and I'm aiming in the daylight aiming box in the pip. And the thermal can actually see, if I put the reticle on the thermal main weight view, that just glimpsed the warmth of the pellet right there. So the pellet is struck there. So let's do a couple more shots, see if it strikes in the same place. Yep. Now let's see if it keeps recording while I adjust the 0. It does. Brilliant. So let's step button on the right, switch that thermal imaging to digital. The countdown of the recording has disappeared from top left, but it is still recording, I believe. So let's try the power button to freeze the image. Spot on. To the right, go down the way to move the reticle to the left. Okay, spot on. And then just go down the way, yeah, to lower the reticle. Okay, but this is kind of a one-shot zero. Now, I'm not going to zero the thermal off the same group because that has cooled. One button right to save and exit. Switch to another mode for zeroing. Switch to thermal. Let's fire a shot or two here. That was that one. Right, there we go. Okay, so power button. There, that's spot on. Okay, so going to the right. Got the thermal reticle on that group. Long press right button to save and exit. So let's just see if that worked. Okay, that's the whole thing, literally just half a dozen pellets, and I'm zeroed at 13 meters. Let's just, as a quick wee test, I'm going to aim digital and then thermal.
I repeated the zeroing procedure at 20 meters and then 30 meters, but I won't show you that because it's just trying to keep things short.
Go down, 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 down. Ballistic calculator, yes. On, data settings, and we want a crate, there we go. Okay. Aiming method, holdover, that's what I want. I'm just going to change the battery just so that none of this gets interrupted. Obviously. And reset them all. There we go. You can see that the holdover is the same in the digital image and the thermal, which is a result.
I resumed this session 2 days later, but I couldn't use the audio recorded off the scope this time because there was a guy using a chainsaw on the lawn cutting up a tree stump for us, and for some reason that caused serious audio interference with the 225R's onboard microphone. From 30 meters down to 20 odd meters, the trajectory was dead flat, but I got down to 21 meters and at base mag 3 times. Here I am aiming with the holdover after ranging each target. The little 16mm target discs sometimes fell off, but this was spot on at 20 meters. 12 meters this time, and again spot on, and again the sticker fell off. 10 meters this time, another tight group. Oh, and I'm afraid you can see I probably haven't bothered focusing the thermal in the foreground because I'm aiming in the HD colour daylight image in the pip. Again the sticker comes off, and again the holdover's spot on. Now at just 6 meters, ranged it, get the holdover, rattle off 3 shots, all spot on centre of the bull. I now brought the target closer still to 4 meters, but rattled off a quick group, a nice tidy group at 4 meters, but all the pellets clustered 1/2 inch low. So I moved the target further away to 5 meters, rattled off another quick 3-shot group, again through the same furry hole, all pellets 1/2 inch low. So the scope was offering too much holdover at 4 meters and 5 meters. So then I moved the target further back to 6 meters and ranged it, got the LRF, got the ballistic solution. 6 meters holdover was spot on. So I reported back to DNT that I was getting too much holdover at 4 meters and 5 meters. This is the target at 6 meters, and as you can see, the grouping is spot on. Doesn't even reach the edges of the 16mm diameter dot as I rattle these shots off very quickly. And lastly, just to finish off the pellets and the mag, without ranging, I just focused back at 30 meters and rattled off 5 shots to knock down the 4 gallery rats and reset them. Perfect.
Let's do a quick demo for you. The TNC225R is based loosely on the digital image of ZHD 520R. But hang on, 8 meters, 6 meters, 5 meters, 4 meters. I can both focus and use the LRF down to 4 meters, although at 4 meters, right, no, it is giving me a holdover point. Superb. And digital image focusing, that's the corner of a Black & Decker workmate, and that is probably 2 meters from the muzzle, so maybe 3 meters from the scope.
Set presses of the centre button, change the reticle from red to black, to yellow to green, back to red. Long press of the centre button, settings button, gets the menu up. If we go down through various options and into function settings, right press, and then we have pip position. Now I've just changed it from centre to left, and I think that gives me a far better view of what's going on. If it was here, and it obscures just above where I might be aiming. So back into here, and go to left, long press right button, and save and exit, and then left button, and out. Okay.
I've got a squirrel feeder on that tree, and that is the mouse. See the eye shine? Oh, there we have. Yeah. That's a second mouse. Cute. Oh. Now, I was hoping for rabbits. Never thought I'd see that. Mice. Okay. Actually, if I swap back, you'll see the field of view difference. Yeah. See the target on the left. That metal target. You see far more of it in the thermal view than you can in the night vision. So the thermal is wide angle. Let's just range this. "20 meters to that tree." Ah, right. Sorry. That tree is 35 meters away. But the leaves hanging down are 19 meters. Okay. Now if I scan around
to the right, beyond the shed. There are some heat sources up there, not visible in the night vision because they're too far away. Let's show you how far. Get away from that bush. 311 meters. Get away from that bush. Yeah, 311, 317 meters. So that's sheep in the field. Switch off. And there we go. So, I was hoping for some rabbits, but I've already seen some mice, which is just as cool. Because that's even smaller targets than a rabbit. There we go. So this is the DNT ThermNight TNC225R, and the 225 is 256 by 192 thermal and a 25mm objective lens. There's the mouse. That's tiny eye shine, tiny mouse, but you can clearly see it in the thermal. So think how much more visible rabbits will be. As the thermal image sort of deteriorates slightly as usual, it'll refresh automatically, periodically. Another mouse just there. So I'm looking at mice at, what's the range? Mice at 27 meters. Epic.
Thanks to Ryan, Estella, Ben, Andrew, and the team from DNT ThermNight Technologies for bringing us these awesome scopes. And this is, I mean, £1,000 is expensive, but it's day, night, thermal, ballistic calculator, IR illuminator, laser rangefinder, all in one. It's totty little thing, it's unobtrusive, and I know people who've already buying several of these because it does everything, and it really is excellent image quality. Thanks very much for watching, hope that was interesting. Click the link down below to my Flickr album for more photos from this ongoing testing, including of the 2 higher spec scopes. They look amazing, and don't forget there's a link down below to my affiliate link if you want to learn more about the scopes from the DNT website and help support my channel, of course. Thanks very much. Thanks for watching. Cheers, all the best. A short teaser, sneak preview here now of my next video, which I'm already editing. This screenshot is from the TNC225R. This screenshot is from the TNC335R. So that's 384 by 288 thermal, 35mm lens. And this one's from the TNC635R. So that's 640 by 512 thermal, 35mm lens. Prices to be revealed, release date is to be announced. Oh, and here's the diagonal LRF splash at 12 meters from the TNC335R. More information coming very soon. Watch my channel. Thanks for watching. Happy shooting. Cheers.